Hello there, my name is Pavlo Stelmach and now we'll unveil the top news of these days. The Senate of the US Congress approved the aid package for Ukraine. Finally, after half a year of debates, political agreements and various speculations, senators decided to allocate almost $61 billion to help Ukraine.
The key now is speed. The speed of implementing agreements with partners on the supply of weapons for our warriors. The speed of eliminating all Russian schemes to circumvent sanctions. The speed of finding political solutions to protect lives from Russian terror. Every leader who does not waste time is a lifesaver. Every state that knows how to act quickly safeguards the rules-based world order. I thank everyone in the world who helps our people restore normal life after the Russian strikes. I thank everyone who helps our warriors defend the cities and villages of Ukraine from Russian evil. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on social network X.
The first package from this decision could be sent on the next week, said Mark Warner in interview with CBS. Among others, there could be long-range missiles, ATACMS. Earlier, Politico reported the Pentagon is preparing to quickly approve a weapons package for Ukraine. The U.S. Ministry of Defense is already working on a formation of a package equipment that can quickly go through the bureaucratic procedure after the law is passed and signed by the United States President. According to the Washington Post, the Pentagon will need less than a week to deliver weapons to the Ukrainian army after providing an aid program. They stated that forming the aid package long before the decision of the Congress. The package of military aid to Ukraine will probably include much-needed NATO 155mm ammunition as well as projectiles for medium-range rocket artillery. By the way, Congress also passed a decision on TikTok ban in the United States, allocation of military aid to Israel and Taiwan, and also the draft law which allows the confiscation of frozen Russian assets for the benefit of Ukraine, which also greatly affected. More than a third of the package for Ukraine will be spent on replenishing U.S. arms stocks. Yes, this money will be used for new equipment, ammunition and projectiles for the American army. But in return, Ukraine will receive decommissioned equipment which will be replaced by purchases. And this equipment and shells are now very necessary for Ukraine. Another $13.8 billion will be spent on the purchase of the latest weapons specifically for Ukraine. Therefore, we expect weapons worth more than $37 billion. And it seems to me that this will significantly affect the situation on the battlefield. In addition, the USA allocates more than $11 billion for its operations in the region. About $9.5 billion will be spent on economic assistance to Ukraine and other countries that suffered as a result of Russian aggression. Of course, you can ask how often countries were affected, but we know that dozens of countries have sheltered Ukrainian refugees. Also, there is currently a crisis in the food market due to the militarization of the Black Sea, which Ukraine is trying to deal with, and quite successfully. Some enterprises and even industries now need funds to reconfigure their work due to the imposed sanctions against Russia. Last night, Ukrainian drones attacked two oil depots. Russia underestimated 26 million liters of fuel. It is almost 7 million gallons. This happened in Yartsevo and Rodorov, in Smolensk region of the Russian Federation. Rosneft missed two bases for storage and pumping of fuel and lubricant materials, where 26 million liters of Russian fuel were stored. Drones of the Security Service of Ukraine hit them. This is reported by the Ukrainian mass media with reference to interlocutors in law enforcement agencies. According to them, after the powerful explosions, a large-scale fire started at the facilities and the evacuation of personnel. The Security Service of Ukraine continues to effectively destroy the military infrastructure and logistics that provide fuel to the Russian army in Ukraine. These objects are and will remain our absolutely legitimate targets, an interlocutor of the publication noted. Let me remind you that earlier, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that oil depots are legitimate targets too.
We have to remember what this is. This is a war of aggression where Russia is attacking a neighbor, attacking Ukraine. Ukraine has the right to self-defense, and that includes also striking legitimate military targets outside Ukraine.
Let me remind you that on the night of April 20th, the Security Service of Ukraine, the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense, and the Special Operation Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine launched a large-scale drone attack on 8 Russian regions. The energy infrastructure was the target. In particular, oil refineries in the Smolensk region were hit by drones. On March 12th, as a result of a drone strike at the Lukoil Nizhegorod Nefteorg-Synthos oil refinery in the Russian city of Ktsovo, the unit, which accounts for more than 50% of the primary processing plant's capacity, failed. On March 13th, the security service attacked with drones 3 of the 5 largest oil refineries in Russia, in Ktsovo, Ryazan, and Kirish in the Leningrad region. On March 15th, a small oil refinery, Первый Завod, in the Kolga region, came under attack. On the night of March 23rd, a fire broke out and explosions sounded at the Novokuybyshev oil refinery in the Samara region. So it looks like not only the USA is currently escalating, but also Ukraine. The EU wants to introduce sanctions against LNG from Russia and the Shadow Fleet. Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström said that the new package of EU sanctions against Russia will include restrictions on Russian LNG and the oil shadow fleet. According to the Swedish minister, the 14th package of sanctions is one of the most important topics for European ministers as of now.
Adopting the 14th sanctions package is one of the most important things, where we will see to it that we both include an import ban on liquefied natural gas, as well as measures to curb the Russian shadow fleet. But above all, I would like to highlight the need to see to it that military supplies can get forward to Ukraine in order to help the country which is now fighting for our freedom and our safety as well.
Earlier, Vice President of the European Commission, Valdis Dombrovskis, confirmed that the EU has started work on the next 14th package of sanctions against Russia due to its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Also, the Vice Chairman of the European Commission noted the department is studying ways to counter the circumvention of sanctions through subsidiaries of Western countries that operate outside Europe. A directive will come into force on Sunday, which sets the minimum rules for penalties for violating or circumventing EU sanctions in member states. Now, certain actions will be considered criminal offences in all states that are members of the Union. This is, in particular, assistance in circumventing the entry ban, trading in goods under sanctions, and carrying out prohibited financial activities. Aiding and abetting this offence may also be punishable. Member states must ensure effective and proportionate criminal penalties for violations of sanctions, which should depend on the gravity of the offence committed. Thus, deliberate violations of sanctions should entail imprisonment as the maximum penalty, and violations of EU restrictive measures may be subject to additional fines. Legal entities can also be held liable in the offence committed by a person holding a leadership position in the organization. In such cases, sanctions may include deprivation of right to conduct business activities and cancellation of permits and licenses to carry out their activities. Member states will have 12 months to incorporate the directive into their national legislation. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated, comment, like and subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support is it really matters. Believe in us. Goodbye.